Quentin. Jason, hey, congratulations on this new stand-up comedy film, Laugh Proud.
Thank you. Thank you. Just in time for both API Heritage Month and Pride Month.
That is true. That is true. Sandwich right in between. So Quentin, let's start with you. Tell us what got you started to make this film for Laugh Proud.
Well, so it's long story short was that I started doing I created a Comedy Invasion, which is the first Asian American stand-up comedy TV series back in 2017, was sold to Hulu as an exclusive. And then I just got into the stand-up thing and I thought, oh, it's time to do something kind of queer because again, like, whether it's Asian American comics or female comics or queer comics, they're never given that kind of spotlight in the comedy scene. So I thought I'm queer, so I just thought like, oh, I want to do something like that. But then I was thinking a lot about more the formats that, like, I think should it be more a series or should it be more feature film? And so I came up with, well, like, why don't we do more feature film, having different kind of diverse LGBTQ plus comics, each doing a 10-minute or 8 to 10 minute set kind of thing. So that sort of became what Laugh Proud is. And then as soon as I put out the casting, Jason's the one that called me, hey, I want to be part of this. I said, sure, that's solve some casting issues. And then yes, then we started working together. And we've also worked together on actually quite a feature and a short film before. So, and I know his comic ability it's really amazing. So
That's true. So Jason, tell us about the journey onto this film, because I've spoken to you before. You are one funny guy. So
well, thank you so much. I mean, the journey, that's really interesting you asked that. So 31 years ago, I came out on the Geraldo show. And I had been a comedian for 10 years before that. I'd been on Star Search and won an episode and lost to Martin Lawrence. I stamped my foot and I walked off when I lost, which caused a whole controversy. But at the time, it was very funny. But now people think it's just incredibly rude because of the politically correctness of stuff. But I came out, 31 years ago, and it's been a journey. And what I love about this special the most is that Quentin didn't go to the 3-letter agencies, all the big ones. What he did is he went to what he thought was funny and talent and something new and different. And we've had a relationship for a long time, so I feel really honored that I was able to be a part of this and to show what I've been doing for, 31 years as an out comic, but 41 as a comedian and over 50 as an actor. So this has been a long journey. It's not always easy. A lot of people forget who broke the ground. I always say, when you break the ground, you get to walk on it. Damn well I do. And I'm going to keep walking. I think it's really important to show up as an older person, as somebody who has been through it, to remind people, because, what is it? Silence equals death is our sort of mantra. And as a Jewish man, it's never forget. And, never forget where we came from, where our roots are. And I think that's sort of an interesting thing that Quentin and I probably never have talked about, but the idea of having immigrant parents and being able to come and do this kind of thing, and you speaking to us is just a gift. It really is, because this is what this country is about. My dad was a guy that was a Holocaust survivor, came here, and I'm the son of that. And I get to now be who I am. I get to be an openly gay, queer, I know I'm queer, always feels weird, person in this incredibly wonderful, diverse stand-up comedy film / special.
yeah, I know. Quentin, everyone is thankful that you actually brought this out to light, especially queer comedy. But tell us about recruiting the other 8 comedians for your special.
yeah, so it's really entirely an open casting kind of thing, and exactly, like, so I realized that my talent is not about putting established comics into comedy shows or comedy media, but my talent is more like always discovering new people. So of course, like, I'm very grateful to have someone like Jason who's so established and came up and say, hey, I want to work with you. But at the same time, I think that I'm also very good at finding kind of new voices, and that's sort of like and that's kind of like ultimately what I was trying to do with Laugh Proud. It's just I did an open audition. There's some people that have not even done comedy before because they want to do it. I said, hey, So I check them out, and I think that if their perspective, the point of view is interesting, I let them do something. And also in the editing, I think that, you know, there obviously the sets are sometimes was a little bit uneven, but at the same time that I was able to with editing help to shape that kind of like comic material for each of the comics and make them kind of like all kind of like crisp and fun for people to watch. And I think that's really an amazing. That's like a really cool thing that I get to do with presenting stand-up comedy or making stand-up comedy specials. Yeah.
I think he's being too modest, honestly, because it's when talent meets opportunity. And when he sees somebody who he thinks is really terrifically funny, he's giving them an opportunity. They don't have to be the comic of the moment, the one the agents or the managers who are in the business who the audience doesn't even know who they are, who they raise up. And what he did is he took me and others and he held us up, and he's holding us up. And that to me it's from another gay man. That's a gift.
So Jason, it sounds like you as the veteran had very little editing in this case. But
Can
how
you
is
say something about that just a second? And Quentin, when he called me on the phone and told me that, I just hung up the phone. I actually started to cry a little because it's, you know, to have someone like him put a light on me, even after all these years, means a lot to me. You know, it really does, in a world where people sometimes forget, you know, when you break the ground, do you get to walk on it? Yes. You know, that's when I keep saying that.
So how Jason, how was your personal interaction with the other comics who basically are trying to break into this business?
Well, it's a mixed bag. Some of them had no idea who I was, and then some of them held me on a pedestal. So it's like it's completely you know, like this, up and down. So I think what was really interesting as we were doing the rehearsal, we got in and I was asking all these questions. Where are you cutting me? How many cameras are you using? People were looking at me like, going, oh God. Because when you're doing a special, sometimes if it's not for a Netflix or one of the things, you don't have 45 cameras, you know, everywhere, one on your head and one in your crotch or wherever they're going to do it. Here we had a certain amount of cameras, and you want to know how to work, because what's happening is I'm not doing the comedy for the people in the theater just. I'm doing for the comedy for people at home who are watching it in their beds or on the couch. So you want to make sure that you fit into what Quentin and our DP had put together, so it makes their job easier and people can get the joke, because they have to see you, they have to hear you. That's really important. Those are the two things really important. So that was really cool. And that was nice to be able to be to watch as people watched and learned.
I think you did offer some tips to some of the comics, right? In terms of like just you know, on stage presence, and it's true, but at the same time, we're prepared. We have enough cameras to prepare that we know they can do whatever they want and be completely free on stage. And that's kind of one of the more interesting for me is shooting stand-up comedy, is that it feels like I'm kind of like helping a comic to create art on its own. It's very kind of organic process that I really enjoy.
It's all inclusive. It really is, because if they can't see you, they can't hear you. If you're not catching it at the right moment, you're not going to get the joke, you know. And a lot of them, the thing that I always tell anybody that's new is don't forget to breathe, because I would get so nervous I'd forget to breathe, and don't forget to listen. You have to listen to the audience, because I come from being an actor. That's my roots. That's what I am first. So as an actor, the audience is my partner. You have to listen to what's going on in the room and be incredibly present. And, you know, it's nerve-wracking because you only have that one chance to do it.
That is true. That is true. Especially the fact that you also have to notice who your audience are, as indicated with
Oh,
this
yeah.
Santa Claus in the audience, as Jason and another comic pointed that out quite for us. Quentin, tell us about if you provided guidelines for the comics, you know, or it's just or you just told them like the general theme is LGBTQ.
Well, I really don't feel like I should provide the guidelines with a lot of comics, because actually it's funny, a lot of comics, oh, is it going to be a clean show? Is it a dirty show? It's like, you know, go as dirty as you want, because that's what we want, right? Because partly about creating kind of like independent film is just so you can be as edgy as possible. So I kind of encourage them not to worry about anything, do whatever. But the only thing that you don't want to, say not do is just to make it very dated, because let's say I was doing a comic show right when Trump got elected. So everyone talk about Trump. And so well, you can talk a little bit about Trump, but not talk it so much so that you make your show so dated. And I was working with also Comedy Dynamics back in I did 3 comedy specials for them, and they said, well, you know what, we want our specials to be evergreen, which I agree. As like a filmmakers, you want the material to be kind of like always to be relevant and
Wait,
not
evergreen, does that mean Barbara Streisand is involved? I had no idea.
No. Evergreen is just like
I know what it is. I know. I needed to make a Barbara Streisand
you just
reference.
don't want to date your comedy set like this. It's so you're attacking Trump like 98% of the show, and then it's a Trump show. It's not so yeah.
And then when you play it a year later after he loses, because everyone's going to go out and vote, we don't have to have that. We don't have to bring up all that trauma.
Exactly. Yeah.
So Jason, tell us about the bit that you created for this special. Was it all new jokes, or did you have to recycle some of your previous?
I did some new stuff, and I did some stuff that I've not done on. I have a lot of material, so I did mostly stuff that I had never done on television. It's really hard these days because everything is photographed, everything is filmed. You have to be prepared to do clips all the time, and I try to do clips of things that are audience interaction, so we're not burning material. But I went through the last 3 or 4 television appearances that I had done, and I made sure that I didn't do anything that I had ever done before. And I think sometimes the way I think about material is this: no matter, I think of funny things all the time, and everything I say is funny. But my job is to set it up so the audience understands why I was funny, why I thought it was funny. Because if I'm the only one that thinks it's funny and there's no context for it, they don't understand. So that's my job, is to figure that out for the audience. So that's where the material comes from. But it was just wonderful. I felt so great. The audience was so wonderful and refreshing, and all different age, and just like the audience was exactly a mirror to what was on stage, which is so rare, and I love the idea of just being among all these younger people and people of all different types. It was just so inspiring to me, and it made me feel like, God, something happened, when I came out 31 years ago now. God, it was, I kept saying to Jasmine, and Jasmine and I, who she hosts the show, we had done a movie together in 1995, I believe, a movie called Gay TV, the movie, and it was never released. And it was this crazy idea that a bunch of gay people could create their own gay network. And then who knew that, 20 years later, I'd be doing a TV special for them. I did my first stand-up special for Here TV called Jason Stuart Making It to the Middle. So, and then the Aristocal, which was another wonderful company, released the DVD 2 years later. So I've been really, really lucky, in a lot of respects.
Jason, do you consider yourself a pioneer for doing all this more than 30 years ago?
Wait, let me go get my bonnet. I'll be right back. Honestly, I guess so. Yeah, I guess so. It was so different then. I can't even explain to you. There was no Ellen. There was no Ricky. There was no Wanda. There was, we didn't have Rosie. We didn't have anybody. It was 3 years before Ellen. And I remember I was at Gay Pride, and I went to the Beverly Center, which is where I parked my car. And I remember seeing Ellen come up the escalator with her girlfriend at the time. And I had opened for her several times, so I knew her. I said, "Hey, Ellen," and she was probably as well known as I am now. And I said, "What's going on?" I said, "Were you just at Pride?" And she said, "Oh no, I couldn't go to Pride, because I might get caught on camera." And then I thought to myself, wow. So she is afraid that she's going to be wearing a baseball cap and a tank top and shorts, and someone's going to see her on camera. And I remember thinking, this was, I think, 1991. I said, I don't want to leave my life that way. I don't want to. I don't want that. It's too much. It's too much.
It's interesting that you brought that up, because I came out to LA in '93 to be a queer filmmaker. I went to UCLA Film School, and at that point, it was really hard to even get anyone to want to play a gay role. Right?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, especially because I make queer Asian films, so it's like, oh my God, you just feel like it's almost everybody's just like, this is just so hard. If you can get just one, even a straight actor willing to play a gay role, it's really hard. And then now flashes back to like 30 years later, was it 20 something years later, that there are such as some queer actors or queer comics that would come to much more very open to do queer stuff. So queer material, that is. So I think I really really feel like it's very fortunate to be able to be living now and be able to create stuff, you know, because back then was really hard.
It's full circle. I remember when we did Big Gay Love, and there was the other actor who wasn't gay that had been on a very popular show, and certainly he was a wonderful,
Nicholas Brandon.
wonderful,
He's,
wonderful actor.
Buffy Vampire Slayer, yeah.
Yeah, but just wonderful. But I think now, and I remember talking to you and talking to people about it, and he was, you know, he was cast not just because he's a wonderful actor, but because he was very well known in a show that gay people liked. But now you don't have to do that. Now there's enough openly gay actors that you can get to star in your movie who have a name, you know, have name value. You know, I think that's why I've been so lucky to do so many independent films, gay and straight.
Well, let me do one final remark here, because you know we have made strides for you know quite a few years, for decades now, and you know today is gay comedy just comedy, or we're still making steps forward? I mean, this film alone, you did feature a first intersex comedian.
Yes, I mean, do you mean that is the genre still the genre? I mean, like I think regardless, I think that it's never been easy to be a queer filmmaker or even an Asian American filmmaker, because back in the 90s, you're saying like you would write a screenplay with like an Asian American protagonist or gay protagonist. There's no way to even think about pitching it to a studio or financier. So you have to make it an independent film. And that's kind of how I started, right? But finally now you can actually consider making like just Bros or something that's a 20 million Universal film. That didn't do quite well, but still, I mean, that's that possibility that you feel like, yeah, you can make something mainstream. And so I think that, yeah, I mean, gay films, queer films, Asian American films will always be a genre, but at the same time, it's more viable to be, and like media makers and artists are really able to thrive in that genre and be able to support themselves and make a living. I think that's the most important thing.
Well said, well said. So what's up next for both of you now?
I am going to the Indie Series Awards tomorrow night to see if my series, my Amazon series, Smothered, that I co-wrote, co-produced, co-starring with Mitch Hara, is going to win Best Comedy Series, Best Actor, or myself or Mitch. And I'm really excited about that. It's been an incredible project, and I feel really, really lucky that people have really hooked onto it. And I can't believe we got 11 series nominations, second season, first 4. And I won the Best Actor the first 4. And what else? For Gay Pride on June 13th, I'm going to be honored there's going to be an exhibit of my work and my career at the Hollywood Museum. And then I have a straight boy comedy coming out in the fall called Garlic Parmesan, which is sort of like Napoleon Dynamite. And I play a sort of gay dad that I think I decided I was a gay dad. I wasn't, but I decided I was, but who owns a very bad improv company in West Covina.
Well, congratulations to that. And just to let you know, for your Emmy consideration, Laugh Proud qualified for Outstanding Variety Special pre-recorded, and also Outstanding Directing in a Limited or Anthology Series or Movie. And then Last Summer of Nathan Lee that you have interviewed me on is also qualified for Best Television Movie, and also Outstanding Directing in a Limited Anthology Series. Okay, sorry, I got it switched. So I thought, I mean, Loud Proud is also qualified for Outstanding Directing in a Variety Special. So we have we're qualified for Emmy categories, and then in June is.
Oh wait, you didn't tell him it's going to be. You can come see it at May 17th at the NoHo Theater in North Hollywood for a whole week. We're going to have a big premiere on the 17th that'll play for a whole week, and you can see it like 5-6 times a day.
It's Lamley NoHo, yes. It's theatrical release, and then it's going to be on streaming May 30th. on am.tv and also other platforms. And then I'm shooting the first all Indigenous stand-up comedy feature film in Vancouver in June called Res Comedy. So that's my next thing.
Wow, you both are keeping busy, but Jason, Quentin, thank you very much for carrying this conversation, and it's a pleasure seeing you both again. And I'm pretty sure we'll be talking again down the road.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Thanks for being so supportive.
Thank you.
Bye.